Tonight on KVR News, see why some say raising awareness for breast cancer isn't enough.
Catch up with the vice presidential candidates.
And UT launches its first sustainability master plan.
You're watching KVR News, your leader for live local UT coverage.
Broadcasting live from the Texas Student Television Studios at the University of Texas. You're watching KVR News at 9, Austin's leader for live local UT coverage. Your news starts right now.
Good evening and welcome back to KVR News for Monday, October 3rd. I'm Jina, Chung.
And I'm Kaitlyn, Karmout. Thank you for joining us.
First grade victim Jacob Hall was one of the 3 wounded at the Townsville Elementary School shooting in South Carolina last week. Hall suffered a gunshot that hit his femoral artery, making him lose 75% of his blood. Hall passed away Saturday after the bullet caused severe brain damage. The death makes 6-year-old Hall one of the youngest shooting victims since the Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting in 2012.
The 14-year-old boy suspected of shooting was charged with 3 counts of attempted murder. He is also connected to the murder of his father. It is not clear if he will be tried as a minor or as an adult.
Saudi Arabia is rethinking their alliance with the United States. This comes after Congress overrode Obama's veto of the Justice Against Sponsors of Terrorism Act. The law allows families of victims killed on 9/11 to sue Saudi Arabia for any role in the attack. Saudi politician Khalid al-Dakhil says the attack is a wake-up call for Saudi Arabia to revisit the alliance.
Texas withdrew from the federal government's refugee program. Governor Abbott excited the program because the federal government could not give assurances the refugees would not pose a security threat. Because the state can drop out of the program, it must give 120 days notice. So, Texas will not officially be out of the program until January 2017. Refugees will still be relocated in Texas, just by nonprofit agencies instead of the state.
Starting today, military health insurance will cover some health services for transgender people. The policy will cover hormone therapy and mental counseling for soldiers and dependents. However, only soldiers can receive gender reassignment surgery. The National Center for Transgender Equality said the new policy doesn't do enough. Others say it misuses military dollars. This decision follows the Pentagon's June announcement to end a ban on transgender military members.
We're beginning to see a lot of pink this October as different organizations alert citizens it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. This is a result of pink washing. This practice describes companies and organizations that flashily market their products as aiding the fight for a cure. Ronnie Lamari says society needs to do more about that than raise awareness for the disease.
I think it's really an important concept to realize everyone's aware that people can get breast cancer, but I think the biggest thing is now, can we find better clinical trials? Can we find better drugs with better overall quality of life? And also, can we help direct programs as well as can we find that cure?
First vice presidential debate will be taking place this Tuesday at Longwood University. Mike Pence, Republican governor of Indiana, will be debating Virginia Senator Tim Kaine, a Democrat. Pence is looking to explain policy and draw attention to Clinton's controversies. Kaine will focus on pointing out Trump's weaknesses and continuing Clinton's performance. The 90-minute debate will be moderated by CBS News' Elaine Quijano.
Texas passed a new fetal burial law. This rule requires abortion clinics to bury or cremate the fetal tissue of every abortion in their facility. Texas is the first state to authorize this type of law. Many are upset, claiming this threatens women's rights. Governor Greg Abbott says the law was passed to affirm the dignity of life.
No U.S. city made it on the top 25 on the Arcadis 2016 Sustainable City Index. Although U.S. cities had high scores in economic health, they lost points when it came to social support and environmental initiatives. The University of Texas held a full-day symposium in order to raise awareness on sustainability. We have more on the story. According to a poll by the University of Texas, 80.2% of students put sustainability at a high priority. UT's 2016 Sustainability Symposium highlighted efforts by the university community and also included the official launch of UT's first Sustainability Master Plan.
Sustainability really describes the kind of challenges that society and the planet are facing. It's not even as much of a choice anymore. These are the kind of things that students, as they go through college, if they get out of college and go into their careers, these are the kind of issues that they're going to be talking about.
The plan describes how the university will work towards sustainability over the next 15 years. The plan includes sustainable future building planning, transportation, and landscaping. The symposium showcased many of the campus sustainability initiatives, such as the Living Wall, to bring awareness to the UT community. UT introduced a new degree in sustainability studies this semester and plans to incorporate sustainability into engineering and architecture curriculums. UT Student Government and Texas Athletics are two of the many affiliations that hope to reinforce the goal of sustainability.
We shouldn't be compromising the needs of future generations simply to meet the needs of current generations. If people aren't aware of this concept, of this analytical framework, and of the ethical responsibilities around sustainability, that part is lost.
UT hopes to meet its zero waste goal by 2020, where the university will divert 90% of the total waste from landfill by reusing and recycling. This would reduce UT's carbon footprint by 600 metric tons of CO2 equivalent and save at least $5,000 annually. Jina, Chung, KVR News.
Coming up next, graduate teaching assistants protest campus carry.
And UT participates in Suicide Awareness Week.
Stay tuned for more KVR News.
You're watching KVR News at 9. Your campus, your news.
The clown scare that has been seen across the country has now reached Austin. Reports of creepy clowns have been spotted around several schools in the Austin Independent School District. This past weekend, North Texas cities, including Fort Worth and Dallas, had clown sightings too. School districts and authorities are investigating all sightings. A proposed $720 million smart corridor plan is causing some concerns among business owners. The plan would involve the removal and addition of car lanes. Some designated turning lanes, such as on South Lamar Boulevard, will be replaced with raised medians. This would make it harder for drivers to enter and exit some businesses. If passed, the plan would take 6 to 8 years to complete. It would cost a total of $780 million in grants and federal funding.
Several UT graduate students finalized plans to hold their office hours in a bar for the upcoming semester. The bar, known as Hole in the Wall, volunteered to host TA office hours. The Hole in the Wall is located across the street from campus on Guadalupe Street. Guns are not allowed in any facility that makes over 51% of their income on alcohol. Graduate teacher assistants already hold office hours in other bars, such as the Cactus Cafe in the Union Building. Graduate students are doing this to ensure that their work environment is gun-free. UT sophomore Karen Jareth was selected by the United Nations as a Young Leader for Sustainable Development, a title he will hold until the year 2030. Last year, Jareth was named in Forbes 30 Under 30 Energy list as a young adult with impressive contributions to the energy industry. Jareth is one of the 17 selected by the UN out of over 18,000 applicants. Jareth will be focusing on two major goals of the Sustainable Development Program: life below water and quality education.
Last week, UT hosted a series of events to inform students about suicide and suicide prevention. We went out to see how UT is advocating for mental health. The Center for Mental Health hosts Suicide Prevention Week every September. Their Be That One campaign hopes to get students connected to care and advocate for suicide prevention on campus. Kelsey Lammy, the Mental Health Promotion Coordinator, explains resources the center has available.
We have peer educators that go around campus and educate their peers on how to bounce back from failure and rejection, and really on how to help a friend who might be in distress.
Growing up in Nigeria was what actually had that effect on me.
On April 13th, one student died and 5 were injured in a hydrogen sulfide explosion. A peer educator said taking advantage of these resources are necessary to prevent this from happening.
People usually tend to wait for something bad to happen before they go and try to seek support. So if we could do it ahead of time, it would probably help prevent situations like that.
Peer educators are available to meet at the Powerhouse, located downstairs in the SSC, where students can partake in a safe haven and talk freely. Educators revealed suicide is the second leading cause of death for college students, with 18% considering suicide.
There's things that we can do from mental health professionals, but I think there's also a lot of ways in which people get those needs met and are well in ways that don't fit into sort of the Western box of psychotherapy or seeing a psychiatrist.
The healthcare center is located on the 5th floor of the Student Services Center. Students can go online to schedule care and can access the CMHC Facebook page for more information on how to get plugged in. Well, the healthcare center hopes to encourage students to get connected to care to decrease that 18%. Kaitlyn, Karmout, KVR News.
Next fall, UT will add TEX, a new online learning program. It will help UT students, potential undergraduates, and those around the world by making a college degree more affordable and available. The platform will provide students with fast feedback and services for help in many subjects. UT is aiming to make these services available for students at technology-related majors and in high school.
Well, last week we enjoyed cooler weather. I'm sure the ACL goers enjoyed it too.
Definitely. Especially being outside all day, I'm sure it has made the live music much more enjoyable. And hopefully the weather stays that way for weekend 2. Our Triolo is live in the Weather Center with more updates. Allie, what's the forecast?
Thank you, Jina and Kaitlyn. Prepare to break out the pumpkin spice lattes and hop on your nearest hayride. Fall is here to stay. We'll be right back with more weather after the break.
Go.
You're watching KVR News at 9. Your campus, your news.
With some breezy winds. Tonight will cool down to a comfortable 68 degrees. Tomorrow will heat up to a high of 89 degrees. You can expect some sun during the day, but the temps will cool down to 72 at night. Wednesday will see highs of 91 with a low of 72. And the weather will stay almost the same on Thursday with a high of 90 and a low of 71. While the weather this week is fairly mild, umbrellas may be in order for Friday as there is a 30% chance of thunderstorms, with the temps peaking at 87 and a low of 61. This weekend promises cool weather for those going to ACL, but don't forget a jacket because at night the temperatures will drop to 58 on Saturday. Sunday will be sunny with a high of 83 and a low of 60. Start to enjoy the Texas fall as the weather is starting to reflect this season. Live from the Weather Center, Triolo.
Thanks, Allie.
College Press Box's Steve Helwick will be in the studio to talk about Longhorn sports after the break. Stay tuned.
Have a news tip or story idea? Call the KVR News tip line, 475-8181.
Hi, welcome back to KVR News. I'm Steve Helwick. Texas football traveled to Stillwater, Oklahoma last Saturday to begin Big 12 play against the Oklahoma State Cowboys. OSU dominated the game, and the Longhorn defense had no answer for the Cowboys' offense all day. 555 yards were given up by the Texas defense, and Oklahoma State quarterback Mason Rudolph led his team to a 49-31 victory. TSTV's Jessica Robinson was in Stillwater, reporting on the struggling Longhorn defense that may raise concern for the remainder of the season.
Coaching jobs in question as fans searched for a win going into the Oklahoma State game. But nothing is solidified after the Horns' first conference game resulted in a loss.
Can't play the way we played in the first half and expect to win a football game, especially when you're going on the road in an environment like this.
We had 2 slack-off games. We need to understand that's not who we are. And we need to go out and play defense because it's going to be important in this game.
We can't blame the defense for anything. That's we on offense for to score points. So whatever they do, we just got to go put up more points in them, and we didn't do that today.
The name of the game is to win. We didn't get that done. And we need to cut down on giving up big plays. If we do that, then we're going to be just fine.
Preparation wasn't enough as the Longhorns still have large strides to make on offense and defense.
You had guys in position. It's just we didn't finish, and we didn't finish the play with tackle. But we still got a lot of work to do. We still got a long ways to go. We just got to continue to just work.
I think this is the first time we've tackled that bad in a long time. I missed a couple tackles, and it bothered me and got on my skin, but I tried to move on to the next play. And just seeing it happen was kind of hurtful because, you know, guys we do this every week. We practice tackle every week, and so to go out there and not see it happen was frustrating.
It's when you get out there and the ball snaps, you have to go and play and practice what you play.
Consistent failures on defense continue to be an issue for this young Texas team. The Longhorns look to execute what they practiced this week as they head to Dallas for the Red River rivalry.
This game coming up next week because it's going to be a big one. OU's been the dominant factor in the Big 12. They won it last year, and so now you got to go out there and execute, make plays.
We just have to have the confidence that we've had. I mean, we had 2 great wins at the beginning of the year. We just have to continue to get better.
2 back-to-back away losses follow the Longhorns as they head to their rivalry game. Big Tex will be watching to see if the Horns gain confidence and either rise or fall to their rival. Jessica Robinson, College Press Box.
Texas head coach Charlie Strong has officially demoted Vance Bedford and taken over the role of defensive coordinator. What does this mean for Texas football and ultimately coaches Strong's future at the 40 Acres?
So with this move, Vance Bedford is becoming specialized in the secondary, and Charlie Strong is taking over the play calling roles for the Texas defense. This move becomes necessary after Texas gave up 4 touchdowns over 30 yards against the Pokes this Saturday. And Strong has anchored national championship level defenses before. He was a defensive coordinator in 2006 and 2008 for those Florida Gators national championship teams, where they stifled the Buckeyes and Sooners defenses. He plays the Sooners again once this Saturday. He beat them last year, but this is a hungry Sooners team coming off of a 52-point performance against TCU last weekend. And he needs to see improvement in the defense. He can't be giving up these over 47 points, which the Longhorns have done 3 times this year. And the Longhorns, if the defense doesn't improve, could be on their way to the 3rd losing record under the Strong tenure, which could see his way out of Austin.
All right, thanks for joining us, Steve. And now our Brianna Rodriguez has your entertainment news. What's new in Hollywood, Brianna?
Well, Kim Kardashian has a traumatic experience in Paris over the weekend. SNL brings out a new Trump, and a makeup collection has the queen of Tejano music living on. Stay tuned, we have all this coming up after the break.
Now, KVR News at 9 Sports.
Welcome back to KVR News. Kim Kardashian West was in Paris over the weekend for Fashion Week when she was held at gunpoint in her hotel room by 2 masked men. The reality star was tied up by her hands, and the robbers also placed a gag in her mouth. 2 cell phones, jewelry, and a wallet full of credit cards were snatched from Kim, stealing about $9 million. In response to the family emergency, husband Kanye West canceled his headlining set in New York to be by her side. Kardashian spokesperson says she is badly shaken but physically unharmed. NBC's Saturday Night Live premiered their 42nd season this past weekend, featuring Alec Baldwin as presidential nominee Donald Trump. His appearance marked Baldwin's first return to the SNL stage since he last hosted in 2011. Though he holds the title for most frequent host for the show, Baldwin appeared as a guest alongside host Margot Robbie. After starting the season off with a bang, Baldwin will likely continue to portray Trump on the show until Election Day. Donning some extra makeup and a wig, he could make a convincing double. MAC is receiving praise for catering to Latina women following the release of their newest limited edition collection, named after the late Tejano singer Selena Perez. The products debuted this Saturday online and in stores. The collection, which is available until November 17th, introduced lipsticks and bronzers named after her most popular songs. Her sister, Suzette Quintanilla, says it's something they were working on when the singer was fatally shot in 1995 at 23. The first batch of the products sold out from the company's website the same day.
Thanks, Brianna, and thank you for tuning in.
For updates throughout the week, you can follow us on Twitter at KVR News. I'm Kaitlyn Karmout.
And I'm Jina Chung. Stay tuned for College Press Box up next on Texas Student Television. Have a great night.